Hello, and welcome back to Tea, Tentacles, and Talk Cozy Conversations about LGBTQ plus romance. I'm your host, Chloe Archer, and today I am very excited to welcome our first guest of 2026, AJ Sherwood. Let me tell you a little bit about AJ. AJ Sherwood believes in happily ever afters, magic, dragons, good men, and dark chocolate. I like that. She often dreams at night of delectable men doing sexy things with each other. In between writing multiple books, often at the same time, we'll have to talk about that. She pets her cats, plays with her dogs, and attempts insane things with aerial yoga. She currently resides in Michigan with aforementioned cats and dogs. Welcome to the show, AJ.
Thank you.
It's wonderful to have you here. I've wanted to have you on the show for quite a while, so I'm excited that we can do this now. I want to ask you a little bit about sort of your amazing journey as an author. Can you tell us a bit about sort of how you got started, when you knew you wanted to do this, and then how you kind of really came to become very centrally focused in queer romance. I know you write some other stuff as well, but I'm assuming that's kind of your main lane, but
At,
correct me
at
if
this
I'm wrong.
point,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm one of those people that just kind of always knew that I would do this.
Mm.
According to my mother, I wrote and illustrated my first book at 5 years old.
Nice.
Yeah, it's in an attic somewhere. I
Yeah,
have no
right.
idea where. Yeah. I was always writing stories. I was always creating stories.
Mm.
I actually wrote my first book when I was like 14 and all
Mm.
handwriting, of course, no, nothing typed. I actually, in the process of moving from Tennessee to Michigan,
Mm.
refound the box that had all of my high school stuff in
Oh,
it.
wow.
It will never see the light of day. It was all,
Same. I
yeah. It's
Yes.
something that I've had to kind of explain to people. I'm like, writing is a skill. It's
Mhm.
granted, you have to have the talent for it, but it's a skill and it's a skill you have to practice and develop. And with every book, you get a little bit better at it. Or at least
Yeah.
that's the goal, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I remember at one point I was, again, about 13, and my father was like trying to talk me into becoming an engineer because I do have some like mechanical talent.
Mm.
But I kept telling him, no, I want to be an author. I want to be an author. And my father's not the kind of person that says, no, you can't do that. But he
Mm.
was saying things like, you need a firmer career path. This isn't something you can actually make a living with. And I didn't argue with him, but I remember looking at him and thinking, watch me.
That's a
So
challenge, right?
yeah, don't challenge me. I will absolutely throw down and meet you at it. So I always kind of knew, but it wasn't until I was 27. I had actually finished my first book that I would publish. It was
Hmm.
technically the third book I ever wrote. And I just decided that this was good enough to publish. I was ready to do it. And that was about the time that Amazon and Barnes& Noble both did the self-publishing thing. It was brand new at that
Mm.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it took a lot of back and forth. I actually drafted several different friends to help me figure out how to do this because
Yeah.
at the time there was no blogs, there was no manuals, no
Right.
how-tos.
Yeah. No
It
YouTube
was
video.
nothing. It was just us, a Kindle, and a Kobo trying to figure this out.
Wow.
And fortunately, Anthony helped me figure it out. I still bless his head for this doing that because it was a lot of back and forth for about 3 weeks there.
Yeah.
And then I put it into the system and saluted it, wished it luck, and went back to school because I was studying to be a paralegal at the time.
Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that. That's interesting. Yeah.
hmm But it did really well. It was actually
Mhm.
making more money in a month than I was working as a paralegal in a rather good law firm. And I was
Wow.
like, well, this is a no-brainer. I'm just going to go
Right.
home and work in my pajamas. In retrospect, I jumped the gun kind of badly. I didn't realize that
Mm.
the income would fluctuate so
Right.
much, but I
You were in the
still
early
kind of
gold
did.
rush years,
Very
right?
much so. Very
Mm.
much so. Yeah, it was really good timing on my part. I
Mhm.
didn't realize it at the time, but I do
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I can imagine. No, I can very much relate. I also, I mean, oh God, I mean, somewhere in the world there are a bunch of some may be in landmines, some may be or landfills, sorry, not landmines. Um, uh, the texts themselves might be kind of landmines, but like, and somewhere in storage in various places. But I had notebooks upon notebooks that I wrote stuff, hand wrote in again in the days before home PCs and all of that kind of stuff. Um, I think for a lot of authors, many of us knew from an early point that we wanted to get into this. But I know when I was growing up, it felt so out of reach in the sense that it was only through the traditional
Yeah,
publishing
and you had to
avenues.
either have it in or you had to write
Right,
something so amazing,
right.
which was incredibly difficult to do. I actually had kind
Mm,
of an in. Um,
mm.
my now editor, Katie Griffin, was working as an intern for one of the larger publishing houses in New York. And
Okay.
so she actually did help me create a query letter for that first book, but we
Mm.
could never get any kind of traction on it. And I'm one of those people where if you tell me that I can't do something, I just find a way around it. I
Yeah.
will find a way to do it. So I, kept going basically. And interestingly to me, about 3 years after I started actually publishing books, I did have a larger publishing house reach out to me wanting the books.
Mm.
And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, you may not. Because at that point, I also had learned that if you go through a traditional publishing house, they don't actually start advertising for you until you've sold over 2,000 copies, at
Yeah.
least.
Hmm.
And you make less money because, of course, they're
Hmm.
taking a huge chunk of the pie. And I'm like, I'm making better money and I actually have control over my books. So, no, thank you.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's happened to a number of folks where, especially, because there have been so many more self-published people who have like made bank in recent years. A lot more of the trad publishers are sort of reaching out to them. And I've listened to a number of interviews with a good number of them who've said, I said no because I can make more with these
Mhm.
titles myself than what they were offering me in an advance, right? Um,
Yeah.
so
It's a pretty stark difference. It's like, I
yeah.
think through the major houses, you get 10 cents per book sold.
Well,
And
and I think
I'm
that's
like,
only after you've made back your advance.
yeah, yeah. On top of that, yeah. And here I am making $3 a book. Like,
Right,
how
right.
can you possibly compare that? So,
Well, and,
yeah.
and trad publishing, still to this day is not super duper inclusive. Um, the number of like, you know, BIPOC and LGBTQ titles they're publishing is pretty small in
Very small.
comparison to the mainstream slew of titles, right? Did you
Yeah.
ever encounter, I'm sure you probably did, but sort of how did you handle some of the early, it still exists, but not like it used to. The early stigma associated with self-publishing, where a lot of people thought this is like not legit, this doesn't make you an author. Like you've heard, I'm sure, all of the garbage, right? How did
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
kind
I
of
heard it
deal with
all. Well, honestly, at first I just kind of ignored them because I
that?
had multiple people going, well, that's not really publishing. I was like, It's on Amazon. It's got reviews. So
Yeah.
honestly, it is real,
Mhm.
just because you don't think it's real.
Mhm.
And I don't think that stigma lasted for very long. I think it was like 3 or 4 years. And then
Mm,
people kind of realized, oh, I guess this is the wave of the future. We can't keep saying this.
right.
Um, but yeah, every time I got that statement, it was always from somebody who was not a reader. Interestingly
Mm,
enough, it was always somebody who wasn't really into books. And I would just look at them and go, okay, well, that's your stupid opinion. You're entitled to it. Just,
right.
leave me alone. I'm actually making something happen here.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah,
I
yeah.
I have encountered the other end of the spectrum who look down on self-publishing, and it tends to be the academic literary fiction and poet writers that
Uh,
have a very snooty response to, well, genre fiction in general, but like self-published as, as well. Even though, like, oftentimes many of us self-published authors are probably selling more copies of our books than, say, their chapbook of poetry or their literary memoir or whatever, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, it is interesting. I think, kind of your approach is a really good one, and certainly one I would echo for folks who are watching, who are, new or aspiring authors. If you have people in your life or online or whatever who are trying to invalidate what you're doing, don't let them, tune them out if you have to, and just keep on keeping on. Yeah.
Yeah, because usually it's the people who have no idea what's going on that's trying to advise you. And you're like,
Right.
if you were actually in this field, I'd be listening, but you're not. So,
Right. Right. Yep. 100%. Okay, this is another burning question I have been dying to ask you, AJ. Girl, tell me, how on earth do you juggle so many pen names? How many do you have now? Is it like six or something?
launched, I have three. I will
Okay.
be doing my fourth in about 5 months.
So you're moving toward
I'm
where I
still
thought.
doing the thing. Yeah. I'm actually in the process right now of being evaluated for ADHD.
Oh.
Yeah. And I honestly didn't think I had it up until about 2 years ago. And I've got three different copy editors. They all have ADHD, which I think is interesting.
Mm.
And in the process of just talking to them and interacting with them, they kept saying, well, I do this, which is so annoying that my ADHD does this. And I was like, hold on, I do that. Hmm. And it wasn't until the beginning of this year that I really started to kind of, well, last year, I should say, started really kind of thinking about it harder. And
Mm.
then September hit.
Uh-huh.
And September was eye-opening.
Mm.
I had actually been reading a MF Alien Romance series by Regine Abel. I highly
Oh yeah.
recommend it. She's got nothing but green flags for MCs, and I adore her.
Hi.
And I was about 6 books in when my brain was like, "This sounds fun. Let's do this too." And I was like, "Did I just get another plot buddy? Are you serious right now?" So I tried to ignore it. That lasted like 12 hours. And next thing I know, I'm at my computer and I always work on at least two books at the same time. Okay. So I worked on my
Mm.
chapter on one book in the morning. I took a lunch break. I did the next chapter of a different book in the afternoon, which is typically what I do. And
Mhm.
then from like 3 o'clock until 10 o'clock, I would do nothing but work on this book,
Oh
this plot
wow.
bunny that I had no idea what to do with. I wrote a 130,000 word book in 20 days
Oh my God.
on top
Wow.
of the other two books I was doing. So I do keep track of my words on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I use the spreadsheet that Lori Gallagher Witt shares with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote 187,000 words in September,
Holy shit.
which is insane, even by my standards. And
Yeah.
that was my moment of, I probably have ADHD, and that was definitely hyperfocus.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Like, I guess, the question with that, and, I think attendant to that, the multiple pen names and like working on more than one project at the same time. Have you ever veered toward burnout? How do you try to keep yourself from going there? Or has that been just like a nothing burger so far for you?
Yeah, I've not really suffered burnout. I get tired
Mhm.
of working on specific series,
Ah,
which is why I'm constantly jumping from series to series to series. I can't
right.
stay in the same sandbox for very long.
Yeah.
It's really rare if I can work on two books in the series back to back. I think I've only
Yeah.
done it twice.
Mm,
So, yeah, that's kind of how my brain handles it, I guess.
yeah.
It's more a matter of can I stay focused long enough to actually finish the book? Because
Mm.
there's days where that takes a lot of bribes. A lot of bribes.
Right. Yeah, no, it's funny. I can relate. I haven't officially gotten any testing, but I have like multiple friends who keep trying to tell me they're pretty convinced I have ADHD. And I'm like, no, no. And then like the more I learn about stuff, I'm like, well, maybe, So
Yeah.
I'm similar in that I can't, I have multiple series, and partly because my brain needs new places to play, it can't
Hmm.
stay in the same one the whole time. It's not like narrow focused. But then my editor has basically cut me off. She's like, you can't start any more new series until you finish one of these.
Oh, yours too.
Yes. I
Yeah,
turned to
mine
look at
said that at
Mike
the
and
beginning of 2025. Yeah. She's like, you're banned. You have to
I
finish something. And I'm like, you're so
I
mean.
know, I know, I know. It's so funny. I mean, I get it, and I'm glad that she could try to like rein me in
Yeah.
forcibly to do that, because otherwise I would probably have like 20 different ones going, and who knows when they'd be finished. But um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a conundrum, but it's also really fun. Like it's like it was really funny because I'm also high futuristic. I don't know if you've ever done Clifton Strengths before
Mm-mm.
for writers. Anyway, my number one is futuristic. So it means I tend to be thinking far ahead, right? Not just in the short term. And so I had been really struggling because my editor always wanted us to plan 1 year out. And I told her this year, I was like, this is too constraining. I was like, let me do a 5 year plan. And she's like, sure. And the 5 year plan, I just got into it and it turned into a 10 year plan in like an hour, right? And I mapped out like the next 40 books I'm going to write in 10 years or whatever. I mean, it was insane. But my brain was really happy because it's like, oh, all the things floating in there, they have a little place now until more come in. But, but I had to like think that far out. And that's just sort of like how I work. But, my editor, thank goodness for editors because they
Right.
keep from going insane. And you said you have three?
I have three copy editors, two
Oh, okay.
developmental editors, and then
Okay.
three proofers.
Holy smokes. So do
Yeah.
they
And
all
honestly,
work on one project together or are they sort of
no,
separate?
no, they're on different books.
Okay.
So I have some that aren't really comfortable with the gay sex scenes. They don't mind the gay romance of it, but they
Yeah.
can't really handle the sex scenes.
Ah.
So I have some that I can handle anything to, and then I have some that I can't hand everything to. So it's kind of a thing.
Mhm.
I will say at this point, I kind of need to get another developmental editor. My poor editing team is 4 books behind right now.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, if you're churning out 187,000 words in a month, like
that's kind of the problem. Yeah.
So, well, tell me a little bit about your writing process. Are you a plotter, a pantser? Are you somewhere in between?
I'm kind of somewhere in between. For the
Mhm.
longest time, I was a pantser, and then I started writing mystery books, and I discovered I had to be a
Oh,
plotter because you have to
yes.
keep those clues straight.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm not writing on a mystery book, I tend to be more of a pantser. I do occasionally get totally stuck. In fact, that happened twice this past week, where I had to call up my editing team and go, "Hi, help." I written myself into a corner. Most of the time, though, the books that I'm writing are a dream. I dream
Mm-hmm.
up the first 4 to 5 chapters typically, and the dream will keep repeating until I have written those 4 to 5 chapters, and then it will give you the next
Mm-hmm.
segment,
Oh,
which is
wow.
really nice as
Yeah.
long as my brain is having fun in that book. Well,
Yeah.
eventually, though, I catch up with the dream, and usually it's the last like 5 chapters where my brain's like, "Okay, we can skip to something else." It's like, "No, no, 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 get back here. We have to finish the book.
Right.
We're not done."
Yeah, I tend to have more of an issue with that, I think, in the middle. Like I'll start off really like, and then it's kind of like, I know what the ending is, but I'm not sure how we're getting from here to there yet. And I haven't sort of like seen it and have to wait until that happens. But so do
Yeah,
you
I do
kind of
sometimes
like
get stuck in the middle. Yeah,
do you brainstorm off your editors? I find
a
talking
lot.
to other people really helps my process. When I get stuck, I'll call like my alpha reader or, one of my other friends and just sort of say, here's the conundrum. And we'll talk. And like within like 30 minutes of just chatting, I'll like eureka moment. And I'll be like, okay, I know what I'm doing now.
hmm hmm Yeah,
Okay.
it it's almost inevitable. I don't understand why this is the one thing where I think out loud. It's the
Mm.
only thing I do it with. But inevitably, I will somehow, I don't know what it is about page 50, but I get 50-itis. And I will get
Okay.
so stuck on page 50. If I can somehow drag myself to page 60, it stops. And I've got the flow again, I
Mm.
can get the book done. But those 10 pages can be
Wow.
a doozy
The
sometimes.
gauntlet. Yeah.
Yeah. So I often will get somewhere around page 50 and go, "Ugh, stuck again." And I have to either call Katie or Caitlin or somebody. I'm like, please just listen to me ramble and help me figure this out because I don't know what to do at this point.
Right.
Um, Usually it's especially battle scenes. I
Mm.
have said for years the two hardest things to write are the sex scenes and the battle scenes.
Mm.
And it's almost for the same reasons. You have to somehow balance the physical actions with the
Yeah.
emotional impact of them. It's
Yeah.
very much a 50-50.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And the more involved either are, the more time and focus and energy you've got to put into it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I have talked to some other authors who they don't do that kind of spitballing brainstorm thing with other people. There may be more isolationist type writers perhaps, but I get a lot of like creative energy from having that kind of dialogue with somebody else
Right?
who
Right? And
gets what
honestly,
we're doing, you know?
and it's
Yeah.
kind of the most fun part of it because you get
Yeah.
to share this world that you're creating that's so much
Hmm.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
enjoy that part of it.
Oh yeah, I get like supercharged. I'm like- So
Mm-hmm.
for new folks who are listening in, if you're stuck on what you're writing, try this as a strategy. Potentially, if you've got someone you trust who you think would be open to what you're writing about, try to talk with them, and you might be surprised what kind of ideas come to you in the process.
Yeah, very true. And even if you don't have someone specifically, I know
Mhm.
coders who do this. They get little rubber duckies and set them on their desk. And if they get stuck, they talk to the little rubber ducky.
Well, okay. I've not heard of that one, but that another whatever works for you. There's not
Hmm.
any one way you have to do this. I always try to emphasize in the show that like you have to find out what process works for you as a
Yes.
writer and never listen to a you have to kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
approach. Because I think, we need more people telling new and aspiring authors that. Um, well, okay. I want to circle back to something you mentioned to me earlier. I think actually maybe before we started the show, but or maybe during it. I'm losing track of my timeline here. Um, so co-writing. So you have a series with
Mhm.
Jocelyn Drake. Would you ever co-write with somebody else? And if you had like you could pick anyone you'd like to write a series with, like golden ticket open to you here, carte blanche, who would you like to write with?
Oh, it's kind of an interesting question. I actually did write a book with Devin Vesper as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
I tend to do better with Jocelyn because we write at the same speed.
Oh, okay. So speed is an issue. For you.
Yeah. And it's actually part of the reason why I reached out to her to begin with,
Yeah.
because she was doing a panel at the Page conference that Lucy Lennox hosted many
Yeah.
years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was listening to her, I was like, oh, she'd be really fun to write with. And her writing style is pretty similar to mine, like not
Mm.
100% of course, but it's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
similar. And I knew that she wrote at basically the same speed as I did just because I was, of course, reading her book. So I knew
Yeah.
the pattern of the release.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I remember looking at Katie because she was sitting on the couch with me and going, I wonder if she'd be willing to co-author something. And she
Hmm.
goes, well, might as well ask. It doesn't hurt. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
true enough. Yeah. So I waited until Jocelyn was done with the panel because it was a live stream. And then I poked her and was like, do you have any interest in co-authoring with me? And I actually got a response in 15 minutes. And she was like, yeah, do you have an idea? Well, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually ended up taking her idea because everything I had started was too far along to really invite a co-author
Mm,
in.
okay.
But that's how Scales and Spells was created because she
Yeah.
had that plot money.
That's so
So yeah,
cool.
I don't mind writing at a slower speed with other authors, but I
Mhm.
feel like working with me, it gives them a lot of pressure to keep up with me.
Oh, sure,
And
sure.
I'm insane, so I don't want to give people that pressure. Uh,
Right.
that said, I've always thought it would be really interesting to write with Ned Wilder
Oh,
because our writing styles are very similar.
like a
Um,
contemporary or
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I did talk to her about this once, but
Mm.
again, our writing speeds are totally different.
Oh, okay.
So we couldn't really figure out how to make it work, but
Mm.
that thought still crosses my mind from time to time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm always very interested in this. For the longest time, I thought, well, I'm kind of quirky. I just don't know if I would be able to like co-write with another person. I'm also a tiny bit of a control freak, so like I'd need somebody who would let me take the reins on that. And it just so happened that like we haven't announced it yet. So, but somebody I've interviewed on this show before, we are co-writing something together,
Oh.
and it was like some weird kind of kismet in the sense that we came up with the idea during an interview. And we cut that out. And then we, just started talking and went from there. And we share a very similar style of comedy,
Mm,
which because I tend to be more comedic in a lot of what I write and mostly geeky kind of humor. And so I needed somebody who would kind of fit with that. And but it's interesting because we've been working on it for a while, partly because we kind of have it as like this is a side project. When we have time, we'll work on it. So we're not putting a lot of time pressure on it. So it's coming along sort of slowly, but they had life stuff happen and we had to stop for a while and then,
mm,
all of the things. But
yep.
yeah, I hadn't really thought so much about kind of when collaborating the speed component. I was more about would our styles gel and would they let me be in charge?
Fair enough. Yeah. I think part of the reason why Jocelyn and I work so well is
Mhm.
because we are good at doing that 50-50 split of duties.
Yeah. Mm.
And she loves the fact that I will find things that are going on and go, uh-oh. And then I will immediately message her going, this is happening, but I think I can do this to solve the problem. Or, how do you feel about me doing this and this? And she's like, thank you for just taking the ball and running with it. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? Just sit here with my face on?
Right. Yeah, I know. I like to be a proactive
Yeah.
person whenever possible. So, okay, well, that begs the question here, AJ. Is there anything, a new series or project with Jocelyn
Oh,
in
yeah.
the works?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Can you
Yeah.
tell us anything about it?
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
I did post the first book on my Patreon as we were working on it, kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And then we hit a snag on just scheduling because trying to
Oh,
find editors that have time is kind of
right.
like hunting for a holy grail. Uh, so the new series is a lit RPG,
Mm,
and that's not a style that she's ever done before, but of course I
yeah.
have with Villainy. Um, and we had our kind of like typical meeting of, okay, how many books in the series? So, how many characters do we have to create to do this with?
Hmm.
So our first book is between a rogue and a bard, but the bard is an incubus.
Mm. Okay, so it's
Yes,
fantasy lit RPG?
very much fantasy.
Okay.
And I was drawing heavily on my D&D campaigns for like
Okay.
ideas and things that we could do with them. So yeah, book one is done. It goes into edits within the next 2 months at least. And then we're actually hoping to get book two written sometime this spring so that we can do a back-to-back release of the first two books. That's
Okay.
the goal.
Very cool. Yeah, I've only kind of learned more about lit RPG in the last couple of years, partly because I'm a huge like manga, manhwa, anime, light
Yep.
novel reader, and
Hmm.
so I kind of learned more that way. And I have been reading off and on when I have time and inclination. Dungeon Crawler Carl. I don't know if you've
Okay.
heard of this one, but
Yeah, I
it's
have.
a very popular lit RPG with this, and it's more of a kind of like an isekai how would you kind of like a solo leveling, like dungeons appear and
Hmm.
the people who survive are kind of forced into like clearing these dungeon levels and stuff like that. Um and yeah, so I'm really so is your lit RPG one where you're gonna kind of like have game elements in it? Like do they see a status bar? Do they like, get special objects that give them, how involved are you going in that direction?
Yeah, we don't have any kind of a HUD display with these guys.
Yeah, okay.
They do have like different magical elements. Like
Mm,
there's somebody in the party who's a necromancer.
okay.
Yeah, things along those lines. And we of course we're introducing different magical elements into the plot line as you're going as well.
Oh, fun.
And yeah,
Okay.
we really had a lot of fun kind of just creating the cast for this because everybody's kind of a
Mm.
little quirky character.
So they all gonna get their
Oh
romances
yeah.
too? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This
Oh
is
yeah.
the danger of side characters. It's why I seem to only write in series because I
Oh
end up
God.
creating all these side characters who come in and then they won't leave. And then readers are like, are they getting their book too? And I'm like, well, damn it, I guess they are. So
Yeah. 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 You can't trust characters. You can't
no,
trust
you
them.
can't. You cannot. Absolutely not. Um, well, okay, so you mentioned earlier that you were reading this Alien MF sort of series and that kind of inspired you. And I'm similar in the sense that like reading certain things inspires me. It's what fills my well, or like watching
Hmm.
anime or things like that. I get all kinds of ideas. What else do you read in your free time? So you gave us kind of one example, but are there any specific types of things you gravitate toward?
I mean, honestly, I'm one of those people that's just kind of a bookaholic. There's not much that doesn't
Mm.
interest me. Statistics,
Ah.
books do not interest me
Okay.
whatsoever. Um, I read a lot of webtoons.
Oh
I read a
yeah.
copious amount of webtoons and manga and manhwa. I also have like a whole library downstairs of all the different books I've read through the years. Um, yeah, I'm a huge history buff. I read a lot of history stuff,
Mm.
which a lot of people I think have picked that up just from what I've included in the books.
Right, right.
They're like, you must study history. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, I do. You
Yeah.
can you can kind of tell. Um, yeah, I also like to watch anime and all that fun stuff. So I kind of pull elements from everything, you
Mm.
know, especially
Yeah.
if it's something that's set in a different culture. I pay really
Yeah.
good attention because I'm like, okay, if I ever have a character from this culture, I need to make sure to hit these highlights.
Right, right. Yeah, I lived in Japan for a while. It's kind of where I really developed my interest in this. I was teaching English there donkeys
Oh,
years
okay.
ago. Um, and one of the things I really like is about just the sheer variety of kind of subgenres, tropes,
Mm-hmm.
categories, particularly because I tend to gravitate in my writing as well as my reading toward the more fantastical. So I don't do a ton of contemporary because when I'm reading,
Same.
it's mostly like I want to leave the real world. I want to go
Exactly.
to a magical fantasy land, a sci-fi future, like, medieval, historical, East Sky,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they just have so much of that. And they bring in really interesting kind of like cross-cultural elements where they'll be like, these very European things they brought in, and then a whole bunch of, Japanese or Korean or Chinese, like elements into these worlds. And I think it's a really kind of cross-cultural fusion that is quite fascinating a lot of the time.
Yes.
And I mean, I will say, I do think, especially in terms of like the serial format, which is mostly, manga, webtoons, all of that kind of stuff, as well as lit RPGs are usually serial
Yep.
on Royal Road and things like that. They have learned the art of like the cliffhanger and how to like suck you in so you can't stop. Right? You're like, I gotta read the next one and the next one. Yeah, so I think there's a lot that can be learned from some of those types of narratives that really I'd love to see integrated more into some of the LGBTQ romance. You're definitely one person who's doing that, but I'm sure there will be more along the way.
Yeah, I feel like what stops people is that they don't know enough about the cultures. And I
Mm,
love studying culture. It's also
yeah,
part of the history buff thing. But I've
yeah,
also discovered too that if I reach out to somebody and say, "Hey, I'm
yeah.
trying to write a Russian character. What do I need to know?"
Right, right, right,
You know,
right.
people are happy to not only
Oh
tell me stuff,
yeah.
but to be a sensitivity reader afterwards.
Hmm.
So,
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, once you sort of start forming your reader base, especially, you'd be shocked like what kinds of expertise suddenly somebody will pipe in. Oh yeah, like I have like this professional degree or I'm half, and I speak multiple languages. It's so
mhm,
fascinating.
it
And they're
is.
often very generous with their
And I
time.
appreciate them very much because there are days where I'm like, I can't Google this. I
Right.
tried.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think it brings greater authenticity and respect to what we're writing when we do contact folks like that and get perspective and sometimes
Yes.
have sensitivity readers and all of that. But I've kind of had this circuitous conversation here. I want to kind of cycle back to the webtoon thing because your upcoming release that we're going to talk about here now, Regressor King, in the tags for it, it says heavily inspired by webtoons. And when I read the
Heavily.
description, I was like, I thought that the whole time I was reading the description, and then I got to the tags and I was like, I know where this is coming from. Today the cover reveal was done. Can you tell us a little bit about what is Regressor King? When is it coming out? And how can folks get a hold of it?
So it comes out February 10th. We actually scheduled this thing way in advance. So
Oh,
I'm able to do something that any authors don't normally do. The ebook, hardback, paperback, and
wow.
audiobook will all drop on the same day.
Oh, this, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And it it took literally 6 months of planning to pull this off.
Mm.
And I learned in the process that I work a lot with Podium for my audiobooks.
Oh,
Um,
sure.
I did not know prior to Regressor King that if I give them the draft of the book, even before it's even edited, that they can already start to work on it. And then by the time
Mm.
that I give them the final version of the book, they're just ready to go.
Oh, wow.
I was like, well, that's good to know. And you really should have explained that earlier.
Right.
So I was really, really happy about multiple things with the audiobook, especially Zachary Sabah. I'm not sure if you know him very well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's an absolute sweetheart of a person. Also a huge reader of webtoons.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
didn't know that. I
yeah,
met him at Northern Rainbow Romance
that's
Retreat.
exactly where I met him. Yep.
Hmm.
He had brought a copy of the Fae Coin series,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he had me like sign that for him because of course he's the narrator for that book for
Yeah,
me at
yeah,
least.
yeah.
And he mentioned to me, he's like, this one was so much fun and there's so many webtoon tropes. I was like, oh, you just got even sexier.
You're right.
Oh, amazing. And for anybody who's not met Zachary Sabah, he is incredibly cute. Like the
Yes,
man
yes.
should have been a model. I do not know why he's
Yeah.
behind a microphone, but
Right.
yeah, he's very good at it. So when I was done with Regressor King, at least the draft, my
Hmm.
first thought was, I've got to get Zachary Sabah. Because
Hmm.
in part because I knew he had the perfect voice for my main character, James. In part because I knew he'd really appreciate all the webtoon tropes.
Yeah, 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 right.
Yeah. So, and
This one's for
I don't know
you.
why, yeah. I don't know why this didn't click for me. For
Hmm.
some reason I didn't realize that that was the only narrator for the book.
Oh,
And then I handed this man a 225,000 word book. To put this
yikes.
into layman's terms, it's 800 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I only gave him a month and a half to record an 800-page book in. I literally, I did not realize this for 3 days. 3 days after I sent him the book. And then I was like, oh, oh shit. He's the only narrators. What have I done? So I owe that man wine, kittens, something. I don't know. Um,
Right.
I
My
I actually
God.
did get an email this morning saying that he's done. He finished it.
Wow.
The assets have been sent to Audible.
Holy shit.
I'm like,
Wow.
does he still have a voice? Is
Right.
he okay? I'm actually worried about him at this point.
Right? Oh my
Oh,
God. He seems like such a sweetie though. Like
he is a
really,
complete sweetie.
truly
Yes.
very kind and sweet. Yeah.
As a
Well,
special thank you to him, I'm actually giving him an influencer box of all the
ooh.
goodies because I
Oh,
have created
fun.
an influencer box for this. But
Yeah.
let me back up a little bit and actually talk about
Yes.
what the book is about. So, Regressor King was again a dream. But it was interesting because it wasn't like the typical dream where I got the first 4 or 5 chapters and I was dreaming that
Mm.
during the night. Instead, I was laying in bed, half asleep, and I had 3 different lines pop into my head. And fortunately, I was only half asleep. So I pulled my phone out, grabbed my notes
Yep.
app, and wrote down those 3 lines. Okay. Next morning, I wake up and I had this very vague memory that I'd written something down the night before. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, it might be gobbledygook. Well, let's go look at
Right.
it. And I read the lines, and as soon as those 3 lines were in my head, the entire book just flooded. I
Came
just
back.
had the entire book in my head.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, okay. Hopefully Katie doesn't kill me. This is a standalone. It's not a series, right? Be fine. But the 3 lines were James and the book starts where James has died in battle with the Demon King, and
Hmm.
he is now in that in-between place between reincarnation and paradise.
Yeah.
And as he's standing there in this spot, an angel comes to him and says, "Congrats, you did it. You did the thing
Hmm.
that you were tasked to do. You now get to go to paradise."
Hmm.
And James responds, "Will he be there?" And she
Mm.
goes, "The man that you love? No, he's not acquired paradise yet." And
Mm.
James responds, "Then it is not paradise to me." And
Mm.
he flat refuses to go, puts
Mm.
his foot down. Nope. He will stand right there for hundreds of years if it necessary
Hmm.
until Edwin can join him.
Yeah.
And the angels, of course, were like, you can't do that. Like, you literally cannot just sit here and wait. There's so many different reasons why you can't do that." And so he negotiates,
Mm.
and he's like, "Okay, fine. If this is my reward, then change the reward. Send me back exactly 10
Mm.
years, 3 months into the past, and let
Mm.
me do this over with my full memory intact. And if I
Mm.
can't do it on the second try, then I will accept whatever verdict you give me."
Mm.
So, chapter one is him waking up 10 years, 3 months in the past.
Mm. Okay, I love this trope in webtoons. It's
Hmm.
super common. I have a real love for some of the ones that are revenge, like where they're going back to get revenge for whatever has been how they've been
Yeah,
wronged by others. Is there a kind of a revenge element to some of his
not
stories?
on purpose, at least not in the
Oh,
beginning.
okay.
I also love a good revenge story, so
Yeah,
I'm with you on this one.
I
Uh,
know.
yeah, but he was forced into a political marriage in his first
Mm,
round of the life, and he is absolutely determined. He's like, "At this point, you will not manipulate me into making the
yeah,
wrong choice for the
yeah.
right reason. I am done with that." He's like,
Mm,
"I sacrificed every bit of personal happiness in order for the
yeah.
greater good, and I'm done
Mm-hmm.
with that." So when
Mm-hmm.
he comes back into the past, he's got like this list of goals that he's going to hit because he still wants to complete that task, right? He still wants
Mm-hmm.
to attain paradise.
Yeah.
But he's like, "I will not be manipulated into these different things. And this time, this round, Edwin will be my sole priority,
Mm,
and I will choose him over everything else."
yeah.
So as the book kind of unfolds, he does have to deal with the people that either caused problems in the previous life or are still causing problems,
Mm-hmm.
are people that are trying to manipulate him into doing what they want him to do. And he's constantly
Mm-hmm.
having to like maneuver around these guys or just put his foot down and go, "No,
Okay.
no, I'm not doing that."
So this is kind of like also like royalty court intrigue kind of stuff too,
Not
or
so much because I don't really
okay.
like political intrigue, but
Hmm.
he is adopted as a prince into the royal family because he's a
Mm.
bastard of the royal family line.
Ah, okay.
And the three children that are actually legitimate either don't have the right skills to rule, or poor Helena, she just because she's a girl, she's not considered to be a viable
Mm.
candidate, which drives James straight up the wall. He's like, "This is the
Mhm.
only child you have who would actually make a good ruler. Please
Yeah.
stop dismissing her. You're driving me insane."
Mm.
So yeah, he's brought in initially to be a support to whoever is supposed to gain the throne. But the
Yeah.
longer he's in place, he's effective. He's a businessman by
Mm.
nature. He knows how to get things done. He knows how to, maneuver people to get the thing done. And
Right.
so more and more people, like especially the common people, are watching this man in action going, "We want him as king. We don't
Mm.
want anybody else. We want him as king." And here
Mm.
he is, trying so hard to avoid the throne.
Right.
Trying so hard. He's like, "No, I did that once already. No, I'm not doing it again."
That's awesome. I mean, that sounds really cool. Definitely right up my alley in terms of I'm also a huge webtoons addict. Sometimes it's like, oh, you got to stop reading this and go write something.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah,
I
I,
get
I hear you on
sucked
that
down
one.
a rabbit hole, right? The tag also, one of your tags also describes the book as a romantasy. And so I'd love to kind of talk with you about romantasy and how it's starting to slowly take shape more in LGBTQ plus romance and for our
Hmm.
purposes, MM romance, even though it's been really huge over in het romance for a number of years now. There haven't been
Yeah.
as many titles. Um, do you do you foresee that like romantasy in MM is going to really take off in the next few years, or what do you think?
I mean, honestly, yeah, just because of my readers.
Yeah,
A lot of what I write tends to fall on that
into that.
romantasy line. And
Mm,
Regrets for Kane is definitely the one that's
yes.
firmly
I was going to
romantasy.
say this one definitely sounds very like it's
Yeah,
got a lot of the
yeah.
tropes I'm familiar with for romantasy.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And it's one of the main driving plots throughout the book is him winning Edwin over because they were
Mm.
not lovers in their first life. He loved this man dearly,
Oh, but they
but
never.
because he was in a political marriage, he just could not treat Edwin as an affair partner. He just
Mm.
could not do it. So they were never lovers in that life, but he loved this man so much, and he was fairly certain that Edwin loved him just as much. But, of course, his hands are also tied. So a lot of the book was him figuring out, how do I court this man? How do I win him over? Because
Mhm.
there's a lot of different things at play. He's a prince. He's this man's boss because Edwin is his
Oh.
secretary and retainer.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different things that are kind of preventing
Yeah.
them from getting together, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
part of the
yeah.
reason why it didn't happen in the first life
Right.
and why he's so determined to overturn everything to make sure it happens in this life.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think readers are gonna love that. I do think that like I think a lot of MM readers, especially ones who will read into fantasy or paranormal categories, are really primed for some more romantasy coming out. I think you're definitely one of the few people I can think of who have several titles that would kind of fit into that. Um,
Yeah.
I think that because, I've seen some really interesting conversations because there is a difference between fantasy with a romantic subplot or a romance with some fantasy elements. Like, romantasy often has a very, to my understanding, 50-50 kind of split, right? Where
Yep.
it's like half the fantasy, the world, and usually some kind of major it's either a quest or dismantling an oppressive system or,
Hmm.
overthrowing a dictator type leader, that kind of thing, right? Like a big scale.
Hmm.
And then the romance, which, there's also like barriers to that happening that are less about say like internal but often more external kind of forces that are keeping them apart, that kind of thing. I'll be interested to see if mainstream publishers start putting more out. There are a handful of queer romantasy titles, some sapphic and some MM, and then some that are kind of more polypan kind of stuff. But it's pretty tiny number in
Yeah.
comparison. But I'm certainly interested to see if publishers start taking on more of these queer romance titles after the massive success of the Heated Rivalry series. I mean, they
Yes.
may stick to just like queer hockey romance or sports romance to start and just test the waters. I'm not really sure, but I mean, I would love to see some of the like queer romantasy titles that are already out and coming out maybe turn into television series, things like that. Because I think that aren't they
Hmm.
going to do like a television series of the either the it was either Fourth Wing or the Sarah J. Maas one, the Court of whatever. Like, uh,
Fourth Ring sounds right to me for some reason, but don't quote me.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, I know at least one of them is being turned into, I believe, a television series. So yeah, it's interesting, but I hope that I look forward to seeing more folks jump onto the romantasy wagon in MM, and I'm very excited about reading this one. Can you tell us a little bit about the cover? I'm always really interested in cover art and like how that works, and so can you tell us a little bit who did the cover and like were you involved in kind of like the concept for it, or do you tend to just sort of say, whatever, like create for me?
I think Katie would kill me if I had said create for me. So
Okay.
it was Katie Griffin that did the cover.
Oh, okay.
She's of course also my editor as
Yeah,
well. But
yeah, yeah.
what most people don't know is that she actually went to school at SCAD at one point.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah,
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 she's a very good artist. I actually was fired from doing art because I'm too slow. They would rather have me write
Oh.
the words than let her do the art, which is fine,
Mm.
honestly. We did talk about the cover a little bit. Like I had an idea of kind of what the cover would look like, and
Right.
then I kind of just threw her in that direction.
Mm.
And normally she'll come back to me and go, okay, this isn't working or that's not working. And so we kind of have to brainstorm and throw ideas back and forth at each other until she lands on something that she can visualize, something
Yeah,
she can actually
yeah.
do. This cover was not that. I gave her the
Mm.
idea, I turned her loose, and then I heard nothing about it for like 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
I was like, okay, it's either going really poorly or it's going really well, and I don't know which one it is right
Right.
now. Uh, but she called me like 10 o'clock one night and she goes, I'm done. It's like, what do you mean you're done? She goes,
Oh,
I'm
wow.
done. And so she like showed me the full dust jacket cover. And I'm just sitting there staring at it and all going, it's so webtoony. I love it so much. She did a really, really good job. She actually included some really cool elements to it too that I want to talk about
Yeah,
because
please do.
it's not obvious in a glance. So if you're looking at the hardback cover, uh,
Mm.
the bottom left corner, there's this little spiral that
Mm.
kind of fades off in the distance. That is their wedding vows in a mage font repeating,
Oh. Oh, wow.
which I thought was pretty fun.
That's
The
very
up
cool.
right, the upper left corner is all the name of the gods that you see in the book, also in a repeating
Oh.
spiral.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And then if you uh open the book, the chapter headers have a clock that's on the side of it wrapped
Hmm.
around, and that shows 10 years, 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
The exact time that
Wow.
he went back in
Wow.
time. Yeah. The only difference at this point between the hardcover and the paperback is that the hardcover on the back of the book will also say, "It is not paradise to me."
Mm.
But yeah,
Okay,
I
very
wish,
cool.
yeah, she walked me through this. And I was like, "You put so many fun things on there," and unfortunately, because it's in a mage font, no one will ever know unless I tell them.
Right, right. Okay, I'm already predicting there's going to be somebody coming to you with like, guess what tattoo I got? Right?
You might be
I'm
right.
calling it now. I'm calling it now.
I will say
Um,
something else too, real quick.
yeah.
I did something with this book that I've never done before.
Mm.
Any book, any book. I put additional lore past the glossary of the book
Oh
that
wow.
tells what happens to the main characters after the book ends.
Oh wow. Okay.
Hmm.
So is it like in a historical like looking back on the legacy of like these
Not
people or
not
no?
quite.
Okay.
It's very much an author's note of, okay, I have to
Oh,
tell
okay.
somebody. So this is what
Ah,
happens.
that's so
Um,
funny. Okay.
yeah, I couldn't resist. It's actually kind of funny how that happened because we
Mm.
were underneath a tight deadline to get the book done
Yeah.
and over to podium. In fact, we were working on like last minute tweak and edits up until 11 o'clock the night before it was due.
Oh wow.
So it was a lot of back and forth between me, Katie, and Ashley, one of my copy editors, just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth,
Mhm.
trying to make sure that we had everything straight. I did actually a full reread of the entire book and realized we missed two spots. So that had to be retroactively corrected and sent over to
Yeah.
podium. But in the process of doing this, vicious cycle that I was in, Ashley actually mentioned to me, she goes, do you know what happens to these guys after the book ends? I was like, yeah, I know exactly what happens to them. She goes, well, why don't you write it as additional lore in the back of the book? Because it didn't occur to me.
Oh.
I don't have any other answer for you. So because she asked that, and because I was just sitting there waiting on them to give me the book back, I was like, you know what? I have nothing else to do. I can write this out. Turned out to be like 2 pages. It's not very long.
Yeah.
Uh, but I thought it was so cool that I was able to actually do that with this book because
Yeah.
I can't with every series,
Oh no,
either
yeah.
because I don't know or because I anticipate that I might add on to it at some point.
Sure.
But this is very much a standalone.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been trying to make sure that people know, read past the glossary. You'll thank me
Mm-hmm.
later.
Yeah, I mean it's like an extra bonus, like an extra cherry on top of your sundae at the end kind of thing,
Hmm.
right? I think the readers will love that. Absolutely. No, that's very cool. So now, am I correct in understanding that some of your readers have actually read this already, that you serialized it on your Patreon, or did you not?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I did put it on my Patreon as I was writing it. That said, not even the patrons know the whole book because the
Oh,
original draft for the book was 100,000 words.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Let me explain that too, because that was another moment of insanity on my part.
Okay.
So I wrote the 100,000 words. I was actually pretty happy with it. Sent it over to my editor, and she comes back like a week later and goes, "I need 11 more chapters." Yeah.
What?
And initially I was like, "What the fuck, woman?"
Right.
And then I started reading through her notes and I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I can see how I didn't land on a beat here. I can see how I need more information here." I'm like, "Okay, okay." And we chose to do like the first half of the book in edits because so much would shift in the latter half, depending on what I wrote. So I did a half a book at a time.
Yeah. Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, once I got through that first half and handed it back to her, I had this wild thought of, by the time that I've gotten the second half of the book edited, it would probably be somewhere around 180,000 words. Wouldn't it be
Mm.
fun if I actually made it 200,000 words? I don't know
Just
why my,
even, yeah.
yeah, I don't know why my brain thought that. I don't know why I decided it was a good idea. I do know that I completely overshot it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, didn't you say 220,000? Yeah.
225,000.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's what
yeah,
I think of though when I think of like a romantasy. Like
yeah.
it has to be closer to it's got to be meaty, right? Kind of
yeah,
like
you
an
have to
epic
really sink your
fantasy book.
teeth into it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm super pumped. So it'll be coming out, you said February 10th on Amazon and KU. And then
All that
before
stuff.
that, for a little while, it will be available on your web store.
Yes, so on my website, there's a web store. You can pre-order it through there. I also have a Shopify store if you prefer Shopify for whatever reason. We do have it up for pre-order at this point. I will say, wait just a couple of days. Actually, by
Mhm.
the time that this podcast release, it should be ready. We're
Yeah.
going to actually bundle a wallpaper kit in with it so that you've got both
Mm,
desktop and mobile like backgrounds to be able to do with
nice.
this.
Okay, that's
And it's,
sprinkles on the Sunday now.
oh yeah, I spent so much money on art for this book.
Really? Wow.
Really, really. I think I spent about $7,000 altogether.
Oh
I'm
my
not even
God.
kidding. Yeah, one
Wow.
one picture alone cost me $3,000,
Whoa.
and it was worth every penny.
Yeah.
It's by far the most favorite commissioned art piece I've ever done. It
Mm.
was I think she's Belgium, don't quote me, art professor who does
Mm.
freelance on the side, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can tell
yeah.
she's a pro because
Yeah.
it's really good. So I've got really nice art to use for
Wow.
wallpapers for this.
So cool. Wow. And so is
Mhm.
that exclusive to folks who buy from your store, or will you have art on your Patreon or other places later?
This is going to be more, well, the wallpaper version of it is going to be
Yeah.
exclusive to the
Okay.
pre-order. I will be offering the art in different ways. We have 5 different boxes we've put together as
Mm.
giveaways. And
Mm-hmm.
part of the giveaway is uh that $3,000 art piece in a frame so
Oh,
that they've got
wow.
something nice to hang up on their wall.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah, I think there's going to be people trying to push and shove each other for
could
that.
be, could be. Now, later on this year, we also will release it as a special edition.
Oh, hardback? Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's awesome. That leads me to my second to last question here is what kind of reader events are you doing in 2026 where you might have some of this kind of stuff?
I unfortunately am only doing one this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's almost in my backyard. There's a reader conference called Dreaming Dirty, and it's in
Ooh.
Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Oh, okay.
I think it's at the Sheraton Hotel this year.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's actually not specific to any genre except for
Yeah.
romance.
Okay.
So I did meet with the organizer about 2 years ago, and I was like, "Do you care if I bring LGBT stuff?" And she goes, "I care
Yeah.
that you show up." Fair
Ah,
enough. So
nice.
I
Yeah.
will likely be bringing not only Sherwood books, but maybe some of the Ali Brahms books as well, which
Oh,
is
sure.
het romance, but
Yeah.
yeah, also pretty popular. So yeah,
Very
I'll be doing
cool.
that. I want to
Nice.
say that's April.
April. Okay. All right. Well, I'll if you give me a link, I'll put it in the show notes for folks later.
Okay.
Okay. Well, my last question that I like to ask my guests is, can you give us a little sneak preview into what we can expect from you in 2026 beyond Regressor King?
I have to pull up my list for this because I
Okay.
will forget something otherwise.
Drum roll,
Okay.
please.
Yes. So I've got kind of a mix going on. Underneath my Ali Brahms pen name, I've got two. I've got the Ghost Cupid series, and then I'm actually going to finish that series this year. And
Mm.
then I have the Alien Romance series that was
Mm.
sparked by that one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I kind of almost consider that more of an AJ Sherwood book in a way because it's an MMMF.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And I did post it for free on my Sherwood Patreon just
Mm,
because I wasn't comfortable sharing it on the other Patreon. I didn't think that was the right audience for it.
yeah.
But the Sherwood patrons were eating this thing alive. It's very much
Mm.
a comfort read, despite the fact that it's
Mm.
sci-fi. So those
I
two will
read
be coming
comfort
out.
sci-fi. I'm all about it.
I'm all about it. Those will be coming out. The new Jamie Danners series will also launch, and that is also LGBTQ,
Hmm.
but it's young adult.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's also a sci-fi series.
Mm.
It's called Jumpstart. We don't have an actual title for the book, I don't think, but we've titled the series, and I'm hoping to get the second book written in the next 2 or 3 months so that I
Okay.
can do a double release on it too in
Oh,
this
nice.
summer. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. First book is done. It's in edits,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
crossing fingers, knock on wood.
Wow.
Yeah. Um, Currently, what's the next three books aside from Regressor King out for me will be the last book of Max Manifestations, which is book
Mm.
five.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
also written, but in edits. That seems to be the
Right,
story of my
right.
life right now. Uh, I'm also in the middle of writing Rhea Family Archives book four
Mm.
and Sorcerer's Grimoire book three.
Okay.
Yeah. I got really stuck on Sorgrim at one point.
Mm.
So stuck. In fact, I had to set it aside for several months because
Yeah.
something about the plot wasn't driving with me.
Mm.
And then I went back and reread it. It was like, oh, it's because the plot idea I came up with is just the opening salvo. It's not the main plot.
Yeah, okay.
Got it. So I'm unstuck and I'm actively working on it again. So those are all in process. I'm hoping to get to Gay for Renovations book three, which is Cohen's
Oh, okay.
book.
Mm-hmm.
Knock on wood, hoping. And then of course we will do books one and two of Wanted, which is Jocelyn and mine's
Oh,
new series.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's everybody. I think. Oh no, I lied. There's one more. Uh, so A.M. Rose has organized a multi-author series, which is really fun for people who like fan fiction. So the
Mm.
premise of it is she has written a short story to introduce the two main characters, Rowan and Milo,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of us are writing a fan fiction book off of that short
Oh,
story.
fun.
Yes. We have so many different genres on this one. In fact, I have the list up because I've been working on that all week. Um, so like we have people who are doing dragons. We're having people who do robots. One person's doing dark romance. We have Idol, we have Omegaverse,
Wow.
cryptids. Like we are the
Wow.
gamut at this point. To no
Yeah.
one's surprise, I'm writing high fantasy. Yeah. And the series will start June 10th, and
Ah,
then we will
okay.
have a book a week release
Oh, wow.
until August 19th, according to this.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
neat. Okay.
So should be fun. We've been talking about this for a good year in chats and everything, and we are now actively working on it. Like I think I'm one of four authors that are currently working on the book.
Mm.
I This is totally my miss. I was supposed to start that book at beginning of December. I
Oh.
forgot.
Well, with your schedule, that doesn't surprise me.
Well, it surprised me because I don't normally forget to work on a book.
Yeah. Ooh.
Uh, but yeah, I basically have a week and a half to write the book in.
Oh my God. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
good luck. I mean, I think if you can pull another September out of thin air and
that's
you
kind of the
might
hope.
be,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Despite all the many interruptions I had this week, I am 22,000 words into it, so It's
Okay.
going to be kind of a shorter book for me. I mean, anything's shorter compared to Regressor King, but
Right,
yeah,
right.
it's going to be more of that 45,000 word mark
Oh, sure,
than
sure.
a full 90,000 that
Works,
people are
I
used to
think,
me.
for a fanfic of a
Right?
fictional
Right? I
story.
thought so.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
hoping I can get it done by Tuesday. Knock on wood.
Yikes. Okay. Well, power to you. It sounds like there's a lot of exciting stuff in the pipeline for our readers to look forward to. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had a wonderful time talking with you and learning more about all that you do and all that's coming in the future. And thank you to my viewers for tuning in. I will be back next time. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye bye.